Okay. The diagnosis is uncertain yet lah, but highly suspicious of marfan, right? So.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks like it's marfan because
Mm-hmm.
the scoring that he got out of the Ghent criteria is 7. And to be diagnosed as marfan, it has to
Mm-hmm.
be either equal or more than 7. So borderline, but he does exhibit some of the characteristics like ectopia lentis. He has subluxation of eyes, and he has very mild mitral valve prolapse.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He's tall, but my husband is tall as well. He doesn't exhibit hypermobility. That is something
Mm-hmm.
is not. He doesn't have the Murdoch wrist. All those things are not there. So, but there
Uh-huh.
are certain features that he have. He has mild scoliosis as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. How old is he now?
he's 8 years old.
8 years old. Okay. So, okay. Could you start by telling me about when you first received your child diagnosis and how did that moment affect you emotionally?
Yeah, of course. So it was May this year. It was a routine eye checkup in their school,
Mm-hmm.
and before that, my son came and told me that while making him sleep, he looked at me and said, "Amma, you're very blurry to me."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "All right." I knew that a checkup is going to come in school, so I said, "Okay, let's that checkup go, and then we will go and see an ophthalmologist." And when the check results came in, it said that something is not right. You need to go
Mm-hmm.
and check. I didn't think much of it. For me, it looked more like, okay, maybe he would get glasses. And that's when I went to the Sunway Medical Center,
Mm-hmm.
not in Subang, but
Okay.
actually in near Kota Damansara there. So
Okay.
ophthalmologist, a pediatric ophthalmologist.
Mm-hmm.
And when she saw that my son's lens has subluxated,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when he they've I mean they she told that, oh, maybe this could be a sign of a Marfan syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I knew about Marfan syndrome long time ago, but I had
Mm-hmm.
actually forgotten because I'm also a healthcare professional, so I really didn't think much about it. So
Okay.
coming back home, I started doing research to know about Marfan syndrome, and I was
Mm-hmm.
numb.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Really emotionally, I would say that it was like a bolt, like I was
Mm-hmm.
not able to reconcile what is this, because the minute I started reading, it was more like, he's going to have problems with his heart and
Okay.
eyes, and heart is the one which popped out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I being a pharmacist, there is a natural tendency for me to go into research, and I started
Yeah.
reading everything because I wanted to know more about what's wrong, what can be done, and what are the next steps. Like the first thing that you would research is that, is there a cure? Is there something that can be done?
Yeah.
How is this managed? And I'm pretty close to my parents, so I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't I couldn't tell them, I couldn't explain to them, because the minute I start explaining, I'll start crying, because I was not in
Okay.
a very good space,
All
emotional
right.
space at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But so they are twins. I have a boy and a girl. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I couldn't show this in front of my kids. So I have to have that emotional, I think, intelligence enough to
Mm-hmm.
stay very normal in front of them, which I think it's very difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember sending I think it was an article from Mayo Clinic
Mm-hmm.
to my father. So my father has also worked in pharmaceutical industries and healthcare professional. So I
Okay.
sent it to him saying that, don't ask me to explain it. This is what it is. It's suspected, and you can, you can just read about it, because I was not in any state to explain what I have read, because it was
Mm-hmm.
traumatizing enough to read and to go through that.
Yeah, true.
Um, that was the first moment. Nah, doctor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I kind of understand that lah, because I saw many patient like that also. So,
Mm.
okay, how did those early emotion changes or evolve over time?
So, um, you have to be strong enough for your child. So I
Mm.
started researching what is possible. I wanted to go all out. I started checking, even though I'm a foreigner here.
Mm-hmm.
but I've been here since 10 years, so most of my career has been here. I also work for pharmaceutical company. So
Okay.
I was going all out to search what are the possibilities and everything. So what I did is I distracted myself to have a plan in place for
Mm-hmm.
my son.
Okay.
And the Marfan Society,
Mm-hmm.
US had very good articles, so I started reading more about them. I came to know that it's a multidisciplinary disease, and so the first thing that I did is I went to see the pediatrician
Mm-hmm.
in also in Sunway, and
Mm-hmm.
I told her that give me two referral letters. I want a referral letter for IGN and I want a referral letter for HKL, because
Okay.
in my research I came to know that HKL deals with rare diseases and
Okay.
Marfan is one of them. So I wanted
Mm.
to have both. So
Okay.
I asked my husband to go and give this to HKL and get the first appointment. So when he went there, the doctor was very nice enough to tell him that why you're wasting money in hygiene, it's going to cost a bomb, and we do
Mm-hmm.
the exact same thing. So I think
Mm-hmm.
my coping mechanism, doctor, was to have a structure in
Okay.
place and what best I can provide myself. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is I believe in God, so prayers
Okay.
helping.
Mm-hmm.
Number three is my parents' support system. My parents um, grace of God has been a pillar for me. I am an only child, for my parents have been a pillar
Oh,
for me.
okay.
Um, and I see the thing is that I can talk to my husband,
Mm-hmm.
but he also is going through the same thing as me. So if I
Yeah.
lean too much on him, I'm sure he's going to. I think his coping mechanism was not reading, and my coping mechanism was no. I want to read and know what I can do for my son,
Mm-hmm.
and also accepting that okay, this is going to be my life, this is going to be my son's life, and how best I can make it better, how best he can push through. And other thing is that after his first appointment with the heart,
Mm-hmm.
things seem to calm down a bit. Okay, there is no aortic dilation which was
Mm-hmm.
found. So I said, all right, let's take one step at a time. We will
Mm-hmm.
first deal with the things which are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that is going to come in the future, we're going to look at that.
Mm, okay.
But there are moments
Mm-hmm.
where I have also broken down. So in between of having this facade of being, you are after all a human being and after all a mom,
Mm.
there are times where I have cried. But the thing is that if you have somebody that you can speak to,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of helps
Yeah.
helps a lot. Um, and I'm not a person that's going to share to the entire world. No. So in my perspective, you must have one or two very trusted people that
Mm-hmm.
you can share to, that that they have the best interest for you. So
Mm-hmm.
that is something that has really helped, because
Okay.
I want my son to be as normal as possible. I don't want to tell him anything about this diagnosis as of now,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to put that burden on my child now.
Yeah, yeah,
There will
true.
come a time where he will be able to absorb it, but
Mm.
I just want it to be very organic. I don't want people to treat him differently, because that's going to affect him both ways. So he
Mm.
might think that I'm some side of a fragile boy where I need to, things need to move my way. So
Yeah.
that's something, you know, um, you need to be, and I need to be tough for him. So I cannot show that you're a weakling. No, I want to push. So an instance come to my mind, if you don't mind me sharing with you, doctor.
No, no
After his
problem.
he was diagnosed with the subluxation of eyes.
Mm-hmm.
um, the doctor said no contact sports, and it so happened that just a month before that I had put him in football.
Oh, okay.
So it was a very tough decision for me, and then he
Mm-hmm.
has football in his school as well.
Mm-hmm.
So every once a week they have football in school,
Okay.
and he will come and cry to me saying that why are you doing this, every other a child is playing and then they're just asking me to sit aside. He has come and asked me like, if I want to ask God, will he give it to me? Then I said, what do you want to ask God? Then he said, no, I want to ask God that he makes my eyes all right.
Mm-hmm. So it's
Inside, I was broken,
mm,
because I'm not able to give what my child is asking me to give. And it was
mm,
one of the most traumatizing. At the same time, I cannot show my weakness to my son. I want to show that he's okay.
Yeah.
I had to give him examples saying that there are so many kids like that,
Mm-hmm.
but this is not the end of the world. I'm sure that's going to be a struggle because after this next year again, this is going to continue, and there are instances where he's going to come and tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so that has been my life till now.
It's a very tough decision, right?
Yes.
To stop your child to do what he like to do, right?
Yes, it's very, very tough. But they, at the same time, you want to give the best for your child because you know what is best for the child. So I am hoping that when he grows up, he's going to appreciate what the mom did.
Yeah, true enough. He will remember this back. So you said just now you have some people that you trust lah. So
Yeah.
I gather that you trust your parents and then also your doctors, right? Is there any other people that you trust to share your problems?
So when it comes to my problems, the thing is that if I'm not that person who will go and talk about my problems to others because I'm not looking for sympathy, and
Mm-hmm.
and many people will give me sympathy, but end of the day they are not going to um, provide me anything. Probably
Yeah.
they might just give me sympathy and move on.
Mm-hmm.
So in my scenario, if I have any problem, if there is something, I'll try as much as possible to solve. But if not, it's my parents are the only one
Mm-hmm.
that I can trust.
Okay.
I do have my aunt, also my mom's sister, that I'm very close to,
Mm-hmm.
but she was having her own issues in life, so I'm very close to her, but I refused to say this once because doctor, every time when I go to any appointments for him, it's a multidisciplinary team. So they
Mm-hmm.
ask
Yeah.
me to tell how this happened. So every
Mm-hmm.
time I tell a story, it is traumatizing because you're reliving that moment again and
Yeah.
again.
It's repeated. Yes.
Repeating, yes.
Yeah.
And of course, but when you're with the doctor, your frame of mind is that you need to give. I become an healthcare professional there because I switch off part of me where I'm going to be emotional because I want to give the right information to the doctor so that the
Mm-hmm.
doctor is able to help my son.
Yeah.
But when it comes to relatives, I just told her recently and I broke down. So it does happen that when I'm speaking with my relatives and I tell them, I end up breaking down because I know that I have that sort of comfort level
Mm-hmm.
with them, and I can tell them.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like the about 4 or 5 people I would say that I trust and I
Mm-hmm.
know that they will be there for me. But
Okay.
other than that, I've had some bitter experiences, so I don't wish to ask, and I don't wish to tell anybody as well.
Okay, thank you. So, in what ways has your child's diagnosis impacted your day-to-day life as a parent?
There has been a lot of appointments,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
but I'm working, touch wood, I'm really working in a excellent company.
Mm-hmm.
My boss is very understanding. I have very flexible working hours.
Okay.
Most of the time I work from home. I have a very
Mm-hmm.
hybrid thing. So when I don't have to take leave every time. So
Okay.
if I'm taking my son to the hospital, I just come back, start work late and end late.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
of
it's
course,
good.
that fear that comes with it, I can give an example. So quite recently he was diagnosed with some sort of scoliosis, with a mild scoliosis, which they are still diagnosing. I've not received the appointment yet for CT and MRI.
Mm-hmm.
So I was researching, as I was looking at stories. I was looking at, so I encountered one very nice story about a marfan girl in France, where
Mm-hmm.
she said she's very thankful to the mom. She put her in, physiotherapy like exercise
Mm-hmm.
and yoga, which prevented the scoliosis to, worsen,
Okay.
and to uh, so that she is able to avoid surgery. So
Mm-hmm.
that was my main aim because when I went and spoke to the physician, and he said that there is nothing, we don't know what to do. Maybe swimming
Mm-hmm.
helps, which I'm planning to put for him next year. But
Okay.
I went, so there is a physiotherapy that I found in Kota Damansara, which specializes on scoliosis.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an effort that you have to take, and doesn't come easy. There is money involved as well, and more than money, it's a dedication, because scoliosis is physiotherapy is something that you can
Mm-hmm.
see benefit when you
Okay.
do it on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
But I must say, with all those things, my son has been the most cooperative child that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
He might grumble a bit that, do I
Okay.
have to go, to the hospital? But he will try to wager with me. Maybe,
Yeah.
Amma, I'm not going to go to school today. What if, if the appointment ends at 1, maybe going back home. So sometimes, I just let go. He's very bright. So I know
Yeah.
he's going to pick up even if he missed any classes.
Yeah.
So I think the issue is, my working hours is very bad, because sometimes with the calls I have late night, because I need to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
I'm there for him for his physiotherapy that he has to do every day,
Okay.
um, at home.
Mm-hmm.
There are appointments that I need to, and of course the constant worry. If he says that, the other day he said, "Oh, Amma, it's paining on the left," and I was scared, because it could be, I know for marfan, it could be heart, it could be the lungs. Then
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay, are you feeling any breathlessness? So small, small, small things like this is,
Yeah.
maybe as a normal person, you wouldn't think so much, but as a child, even a physical fight with somebody, kids when they
Mm-hmm.
try to wrestle,
Yeah.
it bothers me, it scares me, so I have to be extra vigilant about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Understand that. So, you said that you have a flexible working hours lah. So, can you describe any shift in your priorities or routines that have taken place lah during this period?
I think I've given up my exercise routine.
Oh, as you have
uh,
exercise routine,
um,
you have discarded
I
it, right?
had, I think this year is gone bonkers.
Okay.
Um, I think it's possibly also, maybe, I'm I'm feeling a bit depressed, in the sense there is no mood to do anything, you
Mm-hmm.
want to do. So it's not just the child, you have your entire baggage of your marriage and your extended relatives. So it's not
Yeah.
a scenario. And in my case, my husband used to work in Johor, and then
Mm-hmm.
we have a father-in-law who's not well at home,
Mm-hmm.
and he had to come here, because at one point I couldn't manage everything. So he was not having any job
Mm-hmm.
at that time. So you can imagine the impact that's going to take, because one person's salary, yeah, but we have so many loan and everything, so we need to even take care of that. So I think that was very pressurizing as well,
Mm-hmm.
because I need to think about my son, and I'm
Yeah.
very, very grateful to the Malaysian government,
Yeah.
and
The
the things
subsidy
that
lah.
they have given. Yeah, subsidy, and also the hospital is
Hospital.
exemplary. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. So.
The pediatric wing. So I'm at least grateful in that sense, where things are accessible and available.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it does put a lot of pressure in your mind.
Okay.
So you. Uh, um, how it has affected, in the sense, like numerous appointments you want to make sure, plus you have other commitments
Mm-hmm.
in life. Then at the same time, I don't want to make my daughter feel that she's neglected, so I as much as possible do everything equally.
Oh.
So for now, for example, if I do that exercise with my son, I
Mm-hmm.
make sure I put a YouTube video for her to do some exercise.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's so it makes my girl feels that she's involved. At the same time, it makes my son feels that I'm not the only one doing it.
Yeah.
Um, and I've got a lovely daughter. Like, she really is very nice.
How old is she now?
They're twins, so both are 8.
Oh, eight. Okay, alright. So you have how many kids now?
I just have
Two
one
kids now.
boy, one girl.
Oh,
Yeah,
so they both twin lah. Okay, okay.
yeah.
What specific emotion or psychological challenges do you find yourself facing the most often?
The stress that how my sons actually. the more than anything, I know that this is something can be addressed. Like for example, if with the treatment, everything, there are surgeries which help saves life. But the most difficult thing that I feel difficult to reconcile is that my child has to go through that. So
Mm-hmm.
even though there are things available, I know there are surgeries available to rectify, but having my child go through that is something, it's very difficult for a mom to take it. And then you see that I had a very normal childhood, but why
Yeah.
my son? So the first
Okay.
thing that questions, like, when you say, you ask God, like, why my son? Like, what did he do wrong? Like, why does he? I wish I could take away. So I,
Mm-hmm.
every day when I pray, I said, like, you take away my some of my longevity and give it to my children. So
Mm-hmm.
even in that, I can't be specific, to my son, because I have a daughter too.
Yeah.
But that's what I do. So in this case, I feel very stressed.
Mm-hmm.
And marfan is such that not everybody exhibits everything, so
Yeah.
you are
True.
always in the lookout of, okay, and I'm under pressure to see everything is okay, am I giving the
Mm-hmm.
best, is there any new thing, I every day, trust me, not doctor, I read about articles,
Mm-hmm.
papers about gene therapy,
Yeah.
translational medicine, which is going to come in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. True.
Every few days I'll be keeping on looking what are the new therapies available for my son,
Yeah.
what can be done.
Mm-hmm.
It's um it's it's very difficult to explain, but I'm also a fighter. It is very difficult, doctor. Of course, the
Mm-hmm.
psychological effect is there, where, as I said, that my priority comes the least, and suddenly your child is at the priority.
Mm-hmm.
However, having said that, it's not an epiphany, but just a realization that I also need to be strong enough,
Yeah.
healthy enough for my child. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I would say it is something like a process, because the minute you get the information, you're not able to reconcile. But over a period of time, with the right attitude
Mm-hmm.
and I think the most important thing is have the right information.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get the proper information, and you need to be prepared. Because my husband is like, I don't want to read. I'm very scared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then you need to be aware about what the scenario is. It might be very difficult to read, and it is very difficult to read. But if
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what you're dealing with, you will not be able to provide the best for your child.
Yeah. True.
So every single day there are moments in my life where I there is some breakdown that happens in my mind. Why my child? How am I going to do that? I snap out of it and say that, okay, no, we're going to
Mm-hmm.
stop. We're going to give the best
Yeah. It's good.
that we
It's good
can.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does your husband work in healthcare also, or the
No, he's in energy sector.
energy sector? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any particular trigger that can intensify those those emotions?
I think when I'm not working, when my mind is blank, when I
Okay.
have nothing to do,
Mm-hmm.
suddenly, at night, when kids have gone to sleep, and your mind is a bit idle,
Mm-hmm.
that's when, a thought just comes, like, just like that,
Oh,
and
okay.
then you are very, very scared, because when you're working, when you're busy, you're diverting your energy and your
Mm.
mind to something else.
Yeah, true.
But when you're idle and doing nothing, or that's the time, I guess, when
Mm-hmm.
uh things
That's
become bad. And I
mm-hmm.
think the other trigger would be reading not so favorable stories.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, it's true.
So, like, some of them are very favorable, some of them are not.
Mm.
So I try to avoid reading unfavorable
Mm.
unfavorable stories.
Okay, that's one good coping mechanism. How about that? So,
Yeah.
how are those feelings or emotion impact your overall well-being and relationships with others?
Um, the overall my well-being, as I mentioned, that there was a time where I was too depressed to do anything for myself. So that would even I like to dress up. I'm a person who takes care of myself and everything.
Mm-hmm.
There was a period after the diagnosis, and I would say it's not just because of this, it's also because of the other factors. As I mentioned, my husband was looking for a job and everything. altogether, I had no motivation to do anything. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, of course, I will do it. My children is there, but I think for myself, I look like a blob at home.
Yeah. So this is
Just
one of particularly overwhelmed experience lah, right?
Yeah, because you're so overwhelmed and you're so tired, you don't feel like doing it. Mentally tired, mind you, not really physical. I might not be physically tired, but somehow the mental tiredness just transcends, and you are feel like, do I have to do? And then you try to give reasons why you want to do this, why you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to do this. Like, oh, exercise. Oh, maybe I'm too depressed to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm too bored, too lethargic, and do I have to put this facial? Do I have to put the cream on? Do I have to look good? And there's time that thing happened. But when it comes to my son, I guess my husband and I, we are very, very united and have the same, I think, things in mind. And for
Mm-hmm.
that sake, we are not. So we might have disagreements over other things,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
but not when it comes to my son. I think we are a team that
Mm-hmm.
we are together. So
Mm-hmm.
it's slowly improving. I would say that you know what will happen, doctor, when I don't have any doctor appointments, things will go okay. Then suddenly, I think it was pediatric ortho.
Mm-hmm.
They said he has scoliosis. So when
Okay.
I heard scoliosis,
Mm-hmm.
of course, I'll go and research. And unfortunately, I knew he could have scoliosis, but at that point of time, I don't research enough before going and speaking to the
Okay.
doctor. So I didn't probably ask the right questions. And I was a bit
Okay.
traumatized after that event when I started reading that, oh, scoliosis, depending on the degree. And because he was then referred to spine in
Yeah.
HKL, spine clinic.
Mm-hmm.
So until that appointment to the spine clinic, I was berserk because, oh, are they going to ask him to wear braces? How my son is going to cope? What if he says no? And I feel bad for him. If it's bracing, it's going to be 23 hours. How is my child going to cope? And I think I
Mm-hmm.
broke down a little bit. So
Okay.
not in front of my child,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe with my husband, maybe a little bit with my parents that I speak to. If it
Mm-hmm.
happens, how am I going to do that? How's my child going to
Okay.
cope
Mm-hmm.
with it? So
Yeah.
I would say the unknown. It's like a fear of the unknown, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
have not met the spine yet. So I don't
Yeah.
know what his diagnosis going to be. I don't know what he's going to say. So
Yeah.
until
True.
that point, my mind is wavering,
Mm-hmm.
looking for the worst case scenario that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, true, true. So I see that you have okay, actually good support lah from your families, and also good resources lah, since you follow up in Kuala Lumpur, right?
Yeah,
Sunway and
yeah.
HKL. So is there any uh, uh, beside of those resources, any lack of or societal or systemic challenges lah that added to your emotional burden?
I think the family, my husband's side family.
Okay.
So that's an unwanted, I would say, pressure
Okay.
um from people who try to come and disturb your life. So I can give an example, doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I want I, when we this was diagnosed, my husband and I, actually I'm going to include my husband here as well. My husband and I, we both want to just live in a bubble with our kids
Mm-hmm.
because we are not ready to socialize to that extent. We want to make our kids happy. We just want to be like, oh, us, we too, and our kids just in a bubble. And it's quite understandable that you are not okay to have relatives at home. You're not okay to have, I'm talking about extend other relatives that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
serve purpose.
Okay.
You're not ready to entertain them because that's draining of energy. When people
Mm-hmm.
come to your house, you need to pretend things are okay.
True.
um, and you need to make sure that things are going on well.
Mm-hmm.
And kid you not, I think from May until now, easily there could have been easily about 10 plus appointments for my son, which is
Oh,
quite a lot
quite
of.
a lot,
I'm not
yes.
saying that there is an intervention that's happening, no, but just going to the doctor, meeting and coming back, it's taking a lot. 10 appointments, and it's
Mm-hmm.
half a year past. 10 appointments is quite a lot.
Yeah.
And again, we are still trying to identify, right? It's still in the very nascent stage, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, for us. So that's very overwhelming. And my husband has a sister, not
Mhm.
very helpful, and
Okay.
creating problems. So
Okay.
I can just give an example where you are not help. So those kind of external factors are the one coming in, annoying us.
Mhm.
My father-in-law, I've taken care of him for 10 years, but
Mm.
at this point of time, I'm too tired.
Okay.
Honestly, doctor, I'm exhausted because I don't have that emotional intelligence to have another person in my wagon, because
Mm.
I have a lot to give to my son. There are a lot of appointments. So my father-in-law has plenty of appointments, which I've gladly taken him
Mhm.
everywhere,
Mhm.
treated him well. But that day I was having a discussion. I think it's time that your father goes and stays with your sister for a while, because
Okay.
it's not, I'm not able to provide that sort of support anymore.
Okay.
Because who's going to take care of me if I
Yeah.
have to take care of my son? And it's a very overwhelming situation,
Yeah.
doctor, because you have a kid who is going through this, you have another kid that you need to take care of. I'm in a very good position. I'm in a regional position, not working for Malaysia. So my timing is all over the place
Ah.
when I'm working for. Although I'm very grateful that they're giving me this opportunity of flexibility, but
Mhm.
with flexibility also comes like you are taking late night calls.
Yeah. True.
So, and of course, my job is priority because that's what's feeding us. That's what's able to have this sort of lifestyle that we are they living. When my husband is not working, I'm able to
Mm.
support the house. So if you are asking me, I think it's the external factors, unwanted factors, and people who are do not necessarily have the best interest in you
Mhm.
creating. So my personal advice, if you're going to give it to somebody who are going through this, is that it's okay to be selfish once in a while.
Mhm. Yeah.
You are not
True.
hurting that person. You are just taking you and your family as a priority.
Mm.
It is a process. You can't simply, it's very difficult to just do like that. But
Yeah.
standing up for yourself and your family and your kids, mainly for yourself, because as a caregiver, as a parent,
Mhm.
you need to be strong enough for your child. If
Mm.
you are
True.
weak, if you are mentally disturbed, that's going to reflect, and that has happened, of course,
Mm.
to how you're going to behave with the child. So I think that's something you need to cut off toxic people from life.
Yeah, true, true. It's everywhere, like in family, in workplace, and other
Mm,
place lah.
yeah,
That's toxic everywhere. But
yeah,
you can choose what you want, right?
yeah, yeah.
So, have you encountered any misunderstanding or stigmatization from others?
I think, okay, my husband is 6'3". He's very tall for his, I mean, he's very tall.
Okay.
So my son is tall. So the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that I know marfan makes people tall, but
Yeah,
not all marfan people are tall also. I've seen people, I've read people who are not tall.
yeah.
Um, of course, they don't know about the situation. They will come and comment like, oh my God, he's 8 years old, but he's so tall.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, it didn't bother me so much, but right now, when people say that, it's a trigger. It's a
Mm-hmm.
trigger. Oh my God. Oh my God. It triggers like smart fun, although they don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe they are just saying just for the sake of saying. And sometimes I feel like, we shouldn't comment on people's height or weight or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, we can't stop what the society tells. We can choose to ignore it.
So what do you do in those situation? Just ignore or you have you explain to them.
I just tell them that, oh, but the father is equally tall, so
Okay.
he got genes. I just I
So
I
it
just
just
I
means like
just tell
that.
that. I mean the both. I'm not short either, so yeah.
Okay. So you said in early interview before you do meditation?
I do meditation. I talk to God. I
Okay.
pray. Um, that is something I write. Sometimes I journal, but I haven't after this. I'm not in the right frame of mind to journal right now. But
Okay.
I used to do journaling. But I
Mm-hmm.
think praying helps.
Praying.
Praying helps. Uh, Having a conversation, just a conversation with God,
Mm-hmm.
does help. And I that's something that helps for me, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the different cultures have different things, like you, okay, you're gonna fast, or you're gonna do this for the god, and
Yeah.
please help. And the same thing
Mm-hmm.
for me as well, because there are many instances that you don't have anything, but you draw that support, that okay, god is there for you. It might
Mm-hmm.
not be for everybody. I'm not saying that everybody has to take that path, but personally I feel god helps me
Yeah.
to stay grounded.
So now, you said that you can't do, or you don't do exercise anymore. So, is there any specific activities that help you recharge yourself?
So what has happened is that I have started my exercise regime in the past 6 months many
Okay.
times, but
Oh,
something or the other comes in, it fails, and then
okay.
it goes on. But this is, I think, after this end of October, I think after Deepavali or something. I was just thinking, in the sense like, I think I should take care of my health. It's time that I start putting priority on me as well. Because if something happens to me,
Mm-hmm.
then who my son is going to rely on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think the thought has come in, like, well, I have to start looking out. I have to start exercising, and now probably I will start. I will start. So is the thought that comes first, and I have to put that into action.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I can understand that. Okay. So how do you balance the emotional needs of your family, lah, including your own, your child, and your husband? Is there any communication methods you found helpful?
Mm, it does sometimes affect me, because being a woman, unfortunately, all the emotional needs falls on us. So
Yeah,
you have
yeah, I can
extended
understand.
family contacting a woman,
Mm-hmm.
father-in-law contacting me.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that this is the year that I've stood up for myself. So there are certain things I've just say, oh, enough, enough. So I've had my own outburst as well, because I feel that when you're in a very pressurized situation, any more pressure just, you know. Um, with my husband, the thing is that you're in a situation like you are not ready to give another emotional support, because you yourself need one.
Yeah,
it
so
has been it has been challenging, but there are sweet moments as well. So it's like a yo-yo. There are times where we both are in the same page, we are loving and doing things. Of course, there are certain times where we have disagreements, and it could be as stupid disagreement. In the end, we will feel like, why are we having it? But the root cause of that is not the small ones. It's because of the pressurized situation that we are in.
mm-hmm.
That is what is causing. Again, I wouldn't say it's just my son. Of course, as I said, financial everything also,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, matters. But yeah, but son is the priority, because now I feel like my priority is my child.
Mm-hmm.
It's not else. And because my parents will always say, forget about us. We have lived our life. The priority is my child. But my husband's father is not like that. He will just think about himself. And at times I get very, very annoyed, because you are, I don't know. It's very difficult to say, and I just feel cheated also. Like, we've been there for you for so long,
Yeah,
I, but this is not the way that you.
mm,
Again, we can't change what people are, so we have to
yes,
stand up for ourselves.
I
Totally,
can
that's what I can say.
I can understand that. So, what type of support network do you have besides your family and extended family? Is there any support group beside MRDS or community groups?
No, I would like to be very, very involved in MRDS if possible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it's not, I mean, I've always been a supporter of rare disease. Being in a pharmaceutical industry, we do celebrate Rare Disease Week.
Yeah.
uh, Very firm, advocate.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be very, very nice to me. So even previously, I worked with hematology group here.
Mm-hmm.
They have the office in PJ as part of my office.
Okay.
Given an opportunity, I would like to work with the MRDS. Whatever volunteer work that we can do,
Mm-hmm.
spread awareness and things like that. But I understand it is not as active as I wish, or I don't know what is happening in MRDS. That could be a possibility, because I did reach out saying that I've become a member. Is there something going on? Said no, we will let you know. So if there is any opportunity, I'm happy to help.
Okay.
For your question asking any other support, I don't need any other support, because it's going to come and backfire to me. I
Okay.
don't have I don't like, as I said, I don't like to talk about my
Mm-hmm.
problems unless people are there to help, because a little bit of sympathy doesn't, does it help? No, they're just going to say, oh, so sad, oh, I didn't know this. And I don't like the judgmentalize. So the minute you say that, they're going to judge
Mm-hmm.
my son is completely okay. And you know what's the problem is, the first thing that they're going to judge is that, oh, maybe something is wrong with his mind.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes like anything to do with the syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
uh, 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 I would say people who are not in healthcare, or people who are not a healthcare professional, would not take an effort to understand what it is.
Yeah, true.
So I don't have the energy to sit down and explain to them unless it's a forum.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not engage in that. So I don't say my problems unless only to my trusted people.
Okay, okay, I can understand that. So I think we've already, I think 45 minutes, right? This is
Yeah.
the last part. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, looking back on your journey so far, is there something you've learned about resilience or strengths that you didn't realize before?
Of course, it's for me, it's like when again I tie it back to mom. I mean, being emotional. I'm also doing a research, if you don't mind me sharing,
Mm-hmm.
on emotional intelligence for my
Okay.
DBA. And only after my son has been diagnosed, I really understand what is emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a person who will just say what is in my mind and then move on. But having that restraint in front of my child, everything is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Giving that support, he doesn't know anything. He just thinks that okay, something is going on. He's too young. I'll just say okay, I had it, Appa had it, so he was just like, all right, that's it. But in front of the child, not to break down.
Mm-hmm.
That is something is the most difficult thing to do, doctor. When your child comes to you and says certain things that inside you're crying.
Mm,
But
true.
even now, when I'm talking to you, there is tears in my eyes. But I can't show that to my son. I have to be as not to say poker face, but as calm as possible, and as
Mm-hmm.
that's, I think, the most difficult thing that I have done.
Okay.
The resilience to be there for my child, and that craziness that comes with it. What else I can do? I keep
Mm-hmm.
searching. What else I can do? What else I can do for my child? What else I can do for my child?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that I have ever done that for anybody in my life.
Mm-hmm. So how do you think all those experience has changed you? Is either positive or negative as a person?
It is positive. So first I have to um, accept that this is something my son has, and it has led me to believe that God has sent this boy to me because He knows that I have the capabilities to take care of him.
Mm,
And he I will give my best to my son, and I do take it also positively, because
okay.
as I said, I'm not a negative person at all.
Mm,
Like if I plunge deep, I pull myself out. I don't rely on others to pull me out. I'll pull myself out.
okay.
uh, um, as I say, I don't like to share my problems, so that's
Mm,
something that I'm down, I try to pull myself up.
okay.
In my mind, I will think that I'm giving the best for my child. I
Mm,
will give all out for my child.
okay.
I think that is what I can do. And I will hope for the best. Everything is okay. And thinking in this, that another 20, 30 years, there's going to be so much of advancement in science.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's not going to be stagnant,
Mm,
So by the time he's in his 30s or 20s, maybe even the gene therapy may materialize at that
mm,
time, right?
yeah.
So things are always changing, things are always moving.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, the resilience has uh, taught me a lot.
Yeah.
I have a very positive attitude also.
Okay. So one last question for you.
Sure.
What advice would you give to other parents who are just beginning the journey of caring a child with rare disease?
My first advice would be, do not go and open and tell this to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Choose a trusted source that you
Okay.
can rely on completely for
Mm-hmm.
everything, and that person as a pillar. So you should have somebody as a backbone.
Okay.
That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is, you need to equip yourself with all the information that is available of the disease. Do not get scared of the information that is presented to you. You
Mm-hmm.
should know. You should be able to face, then only
Mm-hmm.
you will be able to provide the necessary support to your child. If you are not in healthcare professional, if you don't know how to get the necessary resources, you then need to badger your doctor to give you that information.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my case is very different. I am a pharmacist. I've got masters. I'm working in a pharmaceutical. I know exactly where to take the information out,
Mm,
and
yeah.
to
So
ask
mm,
the right questions to the physician. it's
yeah.
it's okay. It's okay to ask the question. I do. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a doctor, but I do ask. But if you're well prepared, you will be able to ask questions
Yeah.
to the doctor.
Okay.
Choose an activity to calm yourself down, whether it's praying to God or whatever floats your
Mm-hmm.
way. You need to do that, and it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to
Mm-hmm.
cry. It's okay to be alone and letting your things out, because after all, you're a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's a process.
Yeah.
Don't expect overnight, next day you're going to be okay. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. True.
uh, it takes time. That was,
Mm.
give it time, and it will be okay.
Oh, okay. So, I think that's all for now. It's already, I think, around 50 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your thoughts and experience with me. Uh, is is there anything else you would like to add, or is enough for you?
No, I would like to see the outcome of the research. Doctor, once you're done, I would like to see the paper, the research paper that's published.
Okay, I will
Uh,
later after it's finished. I will give if it's published, I will give the link to Miss Alida lah, for she can provide it to all of the participants
that is very nice.
see.
That would be very nice. And
Yeah.
second suggestion I would be is that I'm willing to be an advocate
Okay.
to the society. So if you would want me to come speak, and I mean, even arrange something. So we need more,
Mm.
because rare diseases, Malaysia is a very small country, so we feel very few patients undergoing this. We need to have a strong support system
Yeah.
with the parents. I
True.
think that needs to be, my suggestion would be, take example of US, take example bigger countries that they are doing it. We don't have separate societies, but at least the rare disease. So in case something comes up, please keep me in mind. I am very happy to provide my support.
Okay. Thank you, Anusha. So, I think that's all. Thank you, Puan Alida. Sorry, Puan Alida, saya panggil Miss Alida sebab cikgu sekolah anak saya dia panggil Miss Alida, nama sama. Puan Alida.
Assalamualaikum.
Minta
Assalamualaikum.
maaf.
It's okay.
Minta
Alida pun
maaf.
okay.
Minta maaf, Alida.
Hi. Before we hang up. Miss
Okay.
Anusha.
Yeah.
Is I'm Shafi and I. We both are with the Rare Disease Society,
Mm-hmm.
and I will contact you sometimes. Since you have made an offer to be an advocate and a volunteer,
Mm-hmm.
so we'll just keep in touch. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I would really appreciate that.
All right.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Okay.
It was very nice speaking with all of you.
Okay.
Have a nice rest of the day.
Thank you,
All right.
Anusha.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Puan
Thank
Alida
you.
and Shafiq for present here today.
Terima kasih.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Assalamualaikum and very good. Have a good journey.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.